Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Hinches with Beyond the Chart, and this is technical analysis of the stock market today. Today is Tuesday, February 3rd. We're going to take a look at the markets the way we usually do. And then we're going to look at the two biggest percentage winners and biggest percentage losers of the stocks that I closely follow. Okay, let's start off here with the Dow, which is up a whopping 305 points today. And so the last 2 days was up about 4% from Friday's close. Monday looks a little bit like a reversal bar. Came off of this support line. I had drawn this dotted line in here. This is the December low. This definitely provided support, turned it around yesterday. And then now we've gotten this this move follow through today to the upside. It goes right at the 55-day moving average. It looks kind of, we've had 2-day moves like this before, like over here, okay? Here we had 4 days in a row to the upside, and then it reversed right back down. So, we still are getting lower lows, and we're still getting lower highs, at least so far. So we'll have to continue to watch and see if that's going to continue to play out. Similar type action, very choppy overlapping that you see here on the S&P 500. The NASDAQ, again, this looks like it's compressing a little bit more than the others, but a similar type action in terms of the 2-day move that we got in the markets. I just don't know that you can read. Now, this was a little surprising in terms of how strong this was. What I was going to say is I just don't know that you can read anything into this quite yet, just because we've had such choppy up and down, ever since the first of the year. And so, I thought today with this gap, I thought, well, wow, that's pretty strong. But then you look back over here and go, well, wow, we got a gap here on January 8th too. And on the very next day, it was like, so what? Next 5 days to the downside. So we'll see whether we get some follow through. Russell 2000, similar type move, reversal type bar. All the markets were kind of looking the same over the last 2 days. Short-term trading index, low reading today, but the 10-day is right at 1.19, right in the middle of the zone. The VIX pulled back like you would expect, given a 305-point move on the Dow to the high side. RSI is right in the middle. Again, no help, no indication. High-low, I really thought with this little move, I thought we had a little bit of a fish hook type action, but, it made it even bigger fish hook. So we'll see whether something else is going on here. I don't know. 180 more new highs than new lows today. All right, let's take a look at, I want to take a look at the kind of like our, I don't want to call them commodity markets, but kind of our market, look at the US dollar. It's been compressing over the last couple of days. Now, this was not an inside day today, but yesterday was, okay? And so basically been going sideways last few days. And when we look at the long-term bonds, so basically long-term interest rates. So if the bonds are dropping and pulling back, which again, it had one heck of a move. And so we got a little bit of a pullback here, which means interest rates rose slightly. But this is still in a pretty solid uptrend. We'll see whether or not it's turning back. I think we have some divergence going on this thing. Yeah, we do. So it's not surprising we may get a correction here on this. And let's see. Of course, the other thing that's the dollar. Let's go back to the dollar real quick. Because, the dollar's rise, a lot of people were talking about, the fact that that's, hurting crude to a certain degree. Now, granted, there's a glut of oil that's also going on and everything else. So the fact that, we had oil spiking, but we had really no reaction with the dollar index basically going sideways, I think that's kind of curious. So the oil spiking could be nothing more than a technical reaction in a deeply oversold market. All right, let's take a look at oil. See what it did today. And you can see the 3-day move that we had: Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Big move. But again, it's pulling back. And where did it get resistance? We got resistance right in the middle of this consolidation area. Okay, so right where you would expect that you would get it. And so if it happens to push up through this, gets a lot of momentum, gets through, the next area is going to be up into here. Okay, so that's the way I would look for it. And the last but not least is gold and Spider Gold Shares ETF, GLD. It pulled back today. Gold dropped, I think it was like $16 an ounce or something, and it was a little lower than that. Now, I'm tightening my stop on my second half of my option position on this, and we'll see. I really am still expecting this to at least come up and test this previous high in here, because as one of my subscribers, Chris, mentioned, and he emailed me a note, and I think he's right on. I think if we're doing a 5-wave move here, the fact that we had this sharp pullback for wave 2, and it was fairly deep, and I've talked about that. We've pulled back 38% already here, and so I really wasn't expecting more than a 38% pullback. Okay, usually it's going to be a 23 to 38% pullback. Sometimes it'll go 50%, you just never know. But because this was kind of a zigzag sharp pullback, looking for a possible what we call flat Elliott wave, which would mean we've had one kind of a 3-wave move down, now expecting a second move up to retest this here. It might go slightly higher, and then you get a third move down. So kind of an A, B, C, but B comes back up to the beginning of A. So that's what could possibly be happening and still be part of a fourth wave. So this fourth wave may take several days, several more days. We'll see how this plays out. So I am tightening my stop no matter what. So we'll see how tomorrow works. Okay, and so now we'll take a look at the 4 stocks, 3D Systems. Actually, Stratasys, I don't follow Stratasys really closely. I have it as one of my higher, what do you want to call it? Higher ATR stocks is what I call the Stratasys. I've kind of gotten that. Whenever I have stocks that have ATRs, average true ranges, well over 4.0, I kind of put them in that bucket and kind of have them off to the side. But Stratasys got hit pretty hard today, and 3D Systems was down. Probably all the 3D printers today. But anyway, looking here, it did broke this potential support area. Now it didn't stay down. It kind of had a little bit of a reversal bar, so it may be a little bit of a false breakdown and reversing back down. Now, I mean, it has come a long way, and it could be kind of washing out. But you can only, there's no way to tell for sure, because you're getting some divergence in here, but you didn't get much of a bounce off of that divergence. It got up into here and came up to around 50, 55 or so on the RSI, but it basically went sideways and then started rolling back over again to the downside. So you run into that when you get into these really, really strong moves to the downside. Let me blow this back up a little bit. So right now we'll just have to see whether or not we can get a close back above the 10 and this starts to push and do something different, or whether it's going to continue to move to the downside that it kind of implied today. The next one is Goldcorp, which actually, being down, it wasn't, I actually pulled the wrong one. Gold shares, Goldcorp. Okay, so Goldcorp was down percentage-wise fairly decent, but dollar-wise only 56 cents. So this is actually acting a little stronger even than GLD is, because it's kind of going sideways, whereas GLD is pulling back, back down here to the 21-day. So right now this is, acting pretty strong, acting pretty well, holding up pretty well is I guess what I really want to say. And Twitter. This is one actually I have a put trade idea on, so this did not help me very much today at all. And we'll see. Well, I had to get a drink there. I was getting all choked up just thinking about this move today. We'll see. you know, this has had these spiky type moves before, and we'll, you know, this is, we may be getting caught up in a little more sideways move than I thought. This actually, I thought it was breaking this trend line. I thought it was breaking down again and looking for follow through, but clearly it has gone the other way. And of course, it doesn't hurt when you have a 305-point move in the Dow Industrials to the high side. So we'll see whether I get stopped out over the next day or two. Not sure whether I'll still be in on this on Thursday by the time the earnings come out after the market on Thursday. And the last one we're going to take a look at is U.S. Steel. Yeah, it's right there. It knows what I'm looking for. Okay, U.S. Steel's had a pretty big move to the downside here. You know, this is either an A, B, C, or this is a 1, 2, you know, we're working a 5-way to the downside. And it could be the latter just because of the kind of price action. But be that as it may, let's just look at what it's done since the earnings came out. This is the day after the earnings came out. And so it's had really 5-day nice counter trend, pretty sharp move. And let's take a look at the volume. Volume was huge coming in here. Again, you got some divergence here on the RSI over the short term. Over this little move, you had some bullish divergence showing up. But the RSI was pretty oversold at 15, okay? And so now really, when you're in these deep bearish type moves, the RSI has tendency to trade between like 20 and 60 or 25 and 65. And so now we're right up here at 63 or 62, yeah, 62.3. And so we could be at the top of the range. We could be running into resistance. We'll have to see, but this definitely is a potential resistance, and this is where it stopped. So after well, it's not 5 days up in a row, but it's had a nice 5-day move. Let's put it that way. We'll see whether it's got enough power to it to break on up. But it's going to take, I think, more than this to set up a solid move, because right now the 55 is below the 233, so the long-term trend is to the downside. The intermediate trend is still to the downside. The short-term trend has, yes, turned slightly bullish to the high side because of this move. So 2 out of the 3 trends are still down. So we'll have to continue to watch US Steel, see if something sets up. All right, that's it for tonight. We'll be back on Thursday with a market update. Everyone have a great Wednesday, Thursday. If you're watching this video anywhere but at my website, head on over there, check it out, and check out the posts and other good stuff I've got there for you. If you're not a subscriber, just click on the little red box and subscribe. It's very easy to do. Gives you access to the Trade Ideas webpage. Remember, stay focused, follow your plan, and trade without fear. Have a great Wednesday, everyone.